What's the craziest thing you've heard about people doing to become debt-free? I've heard a lot of crazy stories. People like selling their cars and getting rid of their cable and doing all these ridiculous things. But have you heard of somebody selling their house to become debt-free? Well, that's what we're doing, and I want to tell you a little bit more about that today. Hey guys, I'm Sami Womack from A Sunny Side Up Life, and today I want to tell you why we're selling our house to become debt-free. So I asked over in my Facebook group for some comments, some suggestions for some new videos to do in the future, and I got this great question asking if I could talk more about our plans for selling our house and if we planned on renting or buying a new house in the future, if we plan on putting 100% down, and to just go into a little more detail about that. So I really wanted to talk to you guys about that today since it's kind of fresh on my mind, since we're currently going through it in a lot of my videos and blogs to talk about things that we've done over the past few years. This is actually what we're doing right now at the time of recording this video. So it's really exciting to kind of dig into this a little bit more with you guys. All right, so I want to start with telling you guys kind of a little bit of background about us. So if you're not familiar with our story, when we first started on our debt-free journey, we actually started with about $490,000 in debt. That's just kind of a rough number. And as you can see here on the slide, I've kind of rounded those numbers. So these aren't exactly to the dollar. We weren't just magic and got all of our debts rounded to the nearest thousand or anything. But this is just kind of for a rough breakdown of all of our debts. So we had a lot of medical debt, we had property taxes, we had IRS bills from a business that I used to own. We had a few credit cards. One of them totaled about $12,000 and we had a couple of smaller ones. Our third daughter, Melanie, her birth, it wasn't actually a debt, but it was something that happened in the middle of us paying off our debt. So we kind of added those bills in. We had a few miscellaneous things that kind of came up, kind of like our daughter's birth, like during this process that we kind of added in and that they weren't on our original debt payoff plan. We also had a piece of commercial property from a business I used to own that we still owed on, and we had two houses, our old house, which we turned into a rental property, which is a smaller house, and then the current house that we live in now. So this is a breakdown of our $490,000 in debt, roughly. All right, so where we are today is we have all of those debts paid off. The last two, the commercial property and the rental house, those were paid off by selling them. And then we did have a little bit of profit to put towards the rest of our debt. So now the way we sit, we just have our current house, which we owe about $265,000 on, and we're planning to sell it to become 100% debt-free. So now I want to tell you the reasons why we're selling. A lot of people think we're so crazy for selling, but we do have some really good reasons. So first of all, we realized that our house is just kind of too big for us. It's about 3,200 square feet. When we first moved into it, we only had one child, and we thought, well, we'll grow into it. Well, now we're done having kids, and we still haven't grown into it, so we're kind of like, too much house. It's a little too big, right? So if you're familiar with our story, we first started our journey before we even started budgeting. We started our journey with minimalism, and we downsized our belongings by about half. And so now the house is way, way too big. Too big is like not even a big enough word to use. So the house is just too big. And the thing about a big house is that it has a bigger electric bill, it has higher property taxes, it has higher insurance, all these things that I think a lot of people don't consider maybe when they think about their house payment. They just think about their house payment. So we want to lower our property taxes, our insurance, and the maintenance on the house, the upkeep, and the time really that it takes. I know it's not necessarily money, but time is money, and so it's time that we could really be spending on other things. So that's our first reason. Second reason is that we want to take this extra money. Obviously, we're going to have to spend money on a place to live, right? So our plan right now is to rent. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But our plan right now is to rent. And We want to rent where we can save about $1,000 extra on top of what we already save. So right now we're already saving about 35% of our income, and so we want to bump that up another $1,000 a month by finding a cheaper place to rent. The third reason is really just a fresh start. There's a lot of memories in this house. This house has actually been in the family for a while. My parents have built this house, and it's very close to our heart. My parents actually used to live in this house, and my dad passed away, and then it was kind of just too much house for my mom. So she was kind of like, do you want to keep this house in the family and take over paying for it and all that kind of stuff? And so that's what we did. So there's a lot more to just selling it than just the financial reasons. There's a lot of emotional reasons. And, you know, a lot of people tell me, you know, I'll look at their budgets and I'll say, guys, your house is way over what you should be spending. And they're just say, well, we just can't move this, you know, so many sentimental reasons. Guys, I get it. My parents built this house. This was meant to be their forever home. You know, things happen, life happens, and it's not how it went. So there are so many sentimental things attached to this house, and we really wanted to have a fresh start. There's good memories, there's bad memories, it was us and our past life, basically before we started this journey, that decided to live here. So we really just want a clean slate. We want a fresh start. The next reason is we want to do it right from the beginning. So if you guys know anything about, you know, our plan at all, we have paid off our debt. We've got a 3 to 6 month emergency fund saved now, and now we're saving for the down payment on a new house at some point in the future. So we really want to do it right from the beginning. We got into this house, we really couldn't afford the payments. We were drowning in debt, to say the least. So we want to go into our new house in the correct order right from the beginning. We don't want to go into it with a ton of debt. We don't want to go into it with no emergency fund. We don't want to go into it with no money for maintenance. So we just want that clean slate, and we want to do it the right way from the very beginning. Just kind of start over. So the last reason is that, like I said, my parents built this house. This was their dream house, which it's a great house and it's beautiful, but it's not our dream. And so we kind of realized that if we're going to spend this much money and work hard to pay off this much debt and this much house and all of the money that comes into the maintenance and the upkeep and all of that, then we're going to do it for something that is truly our dream. And I want to encourage you guys to do the same. Think about where you live, how much money you're spending. Is it truly your dream? Is it worth how much money it's costing you? Is it worth how much you have to work to pay for it? So that's really our ultimate reason, I think, is that we just realized if we're going to be this much in debt, it's going to be for our dream. So those are the reasons why we're selling our house. So now I want to talk to you about our future plans. So we're moving on to the future. So first of all, we want to sell this house, of course, which is still in the future. But we want to sell this house. We want to be 100% debt free. We want to have that $490,000 of debt in the past. Next, we plan to rent for about a year or two. It kind of just depends on how it goes. We're going to see how it goes, see if we find a place that we love, see how our savings is going, and all that kind of stuff. So about a year, maybe 2 years. I put this note here, enjoy the freedom, because I wanted to just tell you guys one of our reasons that we want to rent for this long is if you've been a homeowner, you know that it's so much more of a commitment than just paying that payment. You know, you have, like I said, property taxes, insurance, but you also have the maintenance, the yard upkeep, the house upkeep, repairs. It feels like things are constantly breaking. So we want to just kind of enjoy that freedom for a little bit, kind of just take a break from owning for a little bit. Next, we want to take our current savings, which we have been saving for our future home down payment. So we're going to take our current savings. We are going to get a little bit of profit when we sell this house. Not much, but a little bit. And then we want to take the extra money from renting for a year or two. We want to put that all together into a really great down payment. Our goal, Minimum goal is 20%. We're really thinking that maybe 30% is going to be more accurate. So we're just going to see how it goes, 20 to 30%. And that's really a great recommended down payment. And of course you want to, if you're going to finance, you want to put your goal at the maximum 15 years, because you don't want to spend your whole life paying for a house. That seems really silly, really, when you think about it, which with all of our properties, we finance them for 20 to 30 years, which now going through this journey, that seems like a really long time, but that is kind of normal. But we're going to make our goal maximum 15 years. We really want to, when we get our future house, our payoff to be about 7 to 9 years, if not lower. So we're going to see what we can do with our down payment and all that. So that's really our goal. We really just want to, our future plan is to really just do things in the correct order, like I mentioned a minute ago. Just have no debt, have that emergency fund saved, and have a great down payment, and really have a good foundation for our new house. Now I just want to take a minute to encourage you guys that if you feel like you're in over your head with your house, if you feel like your monthly payment is too much, all the other things that come with paying for your house, the maintenance is too much, the property taxes are too high, the insurance is too high, the electric bill is too much, whatever it is, if you feel like your cost of living in your current city is too high, I want to encourage you to be brave enough, to be bold enough to maybe move, maybe sell your house, maybe you need to move cities or states altogether. I know that seems really crazy, but before we decided to sell this house, we hadn't even considered it, to be honest. We hadn't even considered it. And now knowing that you can have a huge chunk of your debt gone by just selling your house. And I know some people will say, well, we're upside down on our mortgage, or we're really not going to make any profit. Guys, you've got to think about the long-term picture. Think about, how much debt you really owe on it and how far you could go if you had that money free. How far you could go if you lowered your monthly payment maybe to a smaller house, or like we said, like we're going to rent and get something about half the price. So that's really going to free up so much money for us monthly, so we can save to hit those long-term goals. So I just want to encourage you that if you've never considered it, definitely consider it, because it is a great way, a way that a lot of people don't talk about as a way to get out of debt. So you can cut coupons, you can get rid of your cable, all you want, and of course those things are helpful, but if you want to just pack a huge punch to your debt, this is a great way to do it. And I want to just encourage you to realize that the freedom is going to be so, so worth it. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you like this video, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get all the updates on all of my new videos. Click the like button below, leave a comment, tell me what you liked about this video, help me out with some suggestions for the future. And I'd love for you guys to follow me. I'm all over social media on Facebook and Instagram. I'm there daily, so I'd love to see you over there. Thanks again for watching. Have you been looking for a new Facebook group to join? I'd like to invite you to join my Sunny Side Up Life community over on Facebook. It's a group full of great women who are ready to gain financial freedom and live an abundant life. In this group, we talk about everything from budgeting, positive thinking, intentional living, and we just provide great support for one another. I'd love to see you over in the group, so find the link below and join today.